And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truths in around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but we're going to engage in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, we want you to save our Consumer Advocate hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372.
Here's my number.
And bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. You'll see a lot of information at consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors. You can watch our television version of the show as well at the website. Click on the live stream, consumerqb.com. We beam TV as well, 10 a.m. daily. And we also have a contact form there. So one of the most important forms is that contact form and how you can reach out to us with any questions that you have. We want to contact and be in contact and network with you, get you in touch with all of our expert contributors that are going to help you win in any marketplace. Intelligent Talk Radio, and we've got a great lineup for you today. We're going to talk about some rents, talk about the rents rising again as well, and we have our feel-good story of the week. So back in studio, Mario Larrea. He's a mortgage expert here, MI Mutual Mortgage. Welcome back in, sir.
Hey, Brandon. Yeah, so I was going to be getting into kind of how the rents a little bit more in depth about how rents are going up, have been going up, and kind of the impact it's having on people right now, and why it makes it a better time to purchase than rent at this point in time.
Yeah, we got a Harvard study here talking about the Harvard's Joint Center for Housing Studies, and it talks about 30% higher rents, and based on a $21 million sample size, 21 million people actually.
Yeah, it's basically getting into how many people are what they consider cost burdened by paying rent. So it just when people start getting into that realm where they're paying over a certain amount of their income towards rent, it really starts cutting into what they can spend their money on, healthcare, types of food, transportation, any type of leisure activity. But I mean, if you're paying that much, it's probably very little leisure activity.
Exactly.
Money left over for that. So
not much money left over at the end of the month, or
right.
month left over at the end of the money, right? All right. Also, we have Jerry Evenwell in the house, and he's the operations manager over at National Flood Experts. Welcome in.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Good. Yeah, I'm gonna probably be doing more support role on here, but
cool.
Happy to answer any questions and look pretty.
Good deal. There you go. Well, hey, you're doing a heck of a job of that, sir. All right. Brad Hubbard in the house as well, CEO, National Flood Experts. Welcome in.
Thanks, Brandon. How you doing?
Excellent. Well, give us a little teaser what we're going to talk about today.
Sure. With National Flood Experts, what we do is we get residential and commercial structures removed from the flood zone, which removes that mortgage requirement to carry flood insurance, and makes flood insurance more affordable for other people.
Yeah, I like that. So, a lot of people are in that position. There's actually a referral I've got for you. If I haven't already given this one to you, I can't remember if I did.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah,
Yes.
Talk to him. So that's something where you look at the the flood insurance, and it's one of these misnomers. Let's face it, real estate, mortgage, there's a lot of misnomers out there. But flood is one of those that's really, there's a lot of things that can impact your overall cost, your ability to utilize money in other ways. So.
Absolutely.
So that's good. Let's talk about that. We'll jump into that. And as a published author, professional speaker, check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. We'd love for you to check that out. We also are a public speaker. We'd love to talk to your organization, your group, your club. If you have any opportunities for engagement, we would love to motivate and help your audience. What we're doing is we're going to help you with a 2-minute audible here. We got a 2-minute drill. We got Peyton Manning helping us with that audible. So today we want to talk about in our 2-minute drill, slow thinking versus fast thinking. And, let's face it, your mind is extraordinary. You have the ability and the capacity to think more thoughts than all the known molecules in the universe. And by properly focusing your mind on your goals, you're going to be able to accomplish extraordinary things. And the mind races at a stream of consciousness of over 1,500 words per minute. Think about that, how fast our minds race during the day. And Albert Gray had a great quote. He said, successful people have developed the habit of doing things that failures don't. They don't like to do those things necessarily either, but their disliking is subordinate to the strength of their purpose. So when you think about slow thinking versus fast thinking, we want to try to slow things down, especially decisions that involve money or relationships or some major investment. You really want to think about developing the slow thinking strategy. And the rule is think on paper. The more you think on paper, you write down the pros, the cons, the strengths, the weaknesses, kind of like a business would do, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, your SWOT analysis. So developing the habit of slow thinking versus rushing into a decision, instantly firing back with that response that comes to the top of mind, it's going to help you have more success in your business and life. So there's your 2-minute drill from the Consumer Quarterback Show. And this segment is brought to you by Kipton's The Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades. Check out the Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude, and it's a whitewashed Mediterranean palace. Got the rooftop 360 with gorgeous views of the Gulf of Mexico and the intercoastal waterways, and you have the yoga on the rooftop there, the Castile restaurant, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on site as well. So go check them out. Now, let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 20% discount off of your room stay just by mentioning the REQB code, the Real Estate Quarterback code, and they're going to take care of you as well over at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, our official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And let's jump right into it, Mario. So for many, the rent is still too damn high, is what this story says. Detroit makes housing affordable with tiny homes. So so that's another trend you've seen with the tiny homes. But this article starts off by saying nearly half of all renter households, about 21 million, were considered cost burdened in 2016, according to a new report from a Harvard's Joint Center for Housing Studies. That means they pay more than 30% of their income to cover their housing, which includes utilities.
Yeah, I mean, that's high too. One of the things too that we had I've pointed out before, but when you think about it, purchasing or paying for a mortgage right now, it's like 30% lower than renting. So when you look at these numbers, it's just absolutely ridiculous that somebody's staying in that. I mean, especially the way things are right now. Lending guidelines are loosening up. As long as you have documentable income, your credit's halfway decent, you can get into a home. So it's not really a whole lot of reason to be paying rent at this point in time, especially you're paying more and getting less, So it's just, when I look at that, I don't know why people aren't, you don't hear more and more people trying to get financed right now. I think sometimes it's, the misconception that they need so much like 20% down or something like that. But, the way things are now with all the low down payment programs that we have, there's also down payment assistance programs, right? VA, USDA. There's a lot of ways you can get in with, very little to nothing down. So, this is an easy way to alleviate this.
Yeah, I think a lot of time there's misconceptions out there where, I got to have 20% down. I don't have the amount of money. Mm-hmm. So then it comes into this big, it's almost kind of like fear, people in people's minds, they have this fear about public speaking or whatever they're kind of hesitant to do in life. They have this fear and they think it, ultimately it ends up being the dog with no teeth, the dog with no bite, because, when you think about the down payment, if you have this number in your mind, you say, let's just use easy numbers, $100,000, you got to have $20,000 for a down payment. And that's going to defeat some people before they even get started. Yeah.
I mean, that's a big number to come up with, but I mean, when you're looking realistically more at like 3.5%, that's a completely different ball game. Like, that's something attainable. It's not, the 20%. I mean, that's 20% is significant.
That's a lot. I mean, that's more of a commercial loan. I mean, that's vacant land. Now, you can also have gift funds in some situations, right?
Yeah, you can use 100% gift funds. You can also have the seller pay your closing costs. So, I mean, if you do 100%, if you have somebody who will gift you the money, a relative or something like that, and then you get the seller to pay closing costs, I mean, you essentially can come in with nothing.
Yeah. So, and especially when you think about veterans as well, veterans have the 100% financing.
Yep.
They've got the great sweet deals that you can do, and also with Platinum MVP Realty, as the owner of Platinum MVP Realty, we'll rebate a quarter to a half a point back to those buyers. I know a lot of the mortgage companies will do similar, pay for the appraisal type of thing.
Yep.
So veterans have an awesome arm ready to go.
Yeah, the nice thing too about the VA loans is like there's no upfront costs. Like for for a normal purchase, FHA, conventional, USDA, you're paying for your appraisal up front. VA, you don't.
Okay.
So, a lot of times it'll either get wrapped into the mortgage or it'll just be paid at closing. So you're not coming out of pocket with anything other than, if you're getting the home inspection, stuff like that you
Right.
want to get. As far as a mortgage, we don't ask for those unless there's an issue on the appraisal. Obviously, it's a good idea to get those when you're making an investment like that. You kind of want to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So, but aside from that, it's a low upfront cost mortgage, real low.
Yeah, definitely. And we talk about supporting the local economy. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Mario Larrea, mortgage expert here and a longtime friend of the program. He's with MI Mutual Mortgage. He's a local lender. Support your local economy. When you think about that, you look at the big banks, you look at some of the big names, and there was another big name bank. Wells Fargo just came out with some more. They got slapped with more fines and some other mismanagement of accounts that we see constantly. So support the local economy. Don't support those big banks on the corner. The guys that participated in the bailout. They took all the bailout money, gave their CEOs the golden parachutes on the way down, and bought up all the best commercial real estate after that, once they got the injection of cash from our money, the taxpayer money. So let's talk about some of that when we come back, Mario. Some of the advantages of working with a local lender, supporting your local economy right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And when we come back, more from our expert contributors and our feel-good story of the week. So stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, the Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. We're looking for inventory. If you're a seller out there thinking about selling your property, we would love to hear from you. We will offer you a free comparable market analysis. All you have to do is text the word value to our Consumer Advocate hotline. Text value and your address to 813-670-7372, 813-670-7372. And we want to make sure we're helping you with any type of content that you any decisions that you're facing daily. That's where we come in. We have attorneys associated with the show, several attorneys that are going to help you with different types of decisions. We have CPAs, financial advisors, mortgage experts. A lot of the trades are represented as well, home inspectors. So reach out, consumerqb.com, submit the form at consumerqb.com. And we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, even your medical will. Each spoke extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners that we can, get you in touch with, help you understand more about these daily decisions. And we're going against the nonsense of the mainstream media, making you just a bit more street smart out there on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we want to help you avoid a lot of that commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our community. So in studio today, we've got Mario Larrea, mortgage expert with MI Mutual Mortgage. We've got Jerry Evenwell and Brad Hubbard from National Flood Experts as well. We're going to talk about flood insurance and ways that you might be able to potentially remove that requirement from your payment and reduce the premiums that or eliminate the premiums that you're facing as well, coming up in the show. And we want to give a shout out to Mary Maids, our official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let Mary Maids take care of your winter cleaning. We know clean. Leave the details to us. Bonded, insured. Customized cleaning, equipment and supplies provided, reliable service, screened and trained employees, additional services, and the same team cleans whenever possible. They are the recipients of the Women's Choice Award, as well, America's Most Recommended Cleaning Services. Let Mary Maids take care of your winter cleaning, and check them out at our website, consumerqb.com, as well. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get special incentives if you do work with them. So, back here in studio, helping you win a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about, compliments of Platinum MVP Realty. We've got 6601 Crickle Avenue in Riverview. This is a beautiful property. It's a split floor plan, large fenced-in backyard, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, and it is over 3,300 square feet, listed at $349,000. And it's a nice opportunity, country lifestyle out here in the East County of Hillsborough. And a hot property out in Valrico as well, in the Bloomingdale section, 4408 River Close Boulevard, Valrico. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, pool home with a beautiful split floor plan. You got 18-inch porcelain tile throughout as well. Over 3,100 square feet, listed at $299,000. Great opportunity. Corner lot, oversized lot, 4408 River Close Boulevard. Check out Platinum MVP Realty for all of your real estate needs. You can search there. You can do a CMA, comparable market analysis, and you can also contact us through consumerqb.com. All right, let's go. We're going back to Mario here. So Mario, kind of hitting on a topic that's really close to home with me is, I see so many people making decisions where they're walking into these big banks, the guys that took the bailout money, versus working with a local lender, somebody that you can reach out to. You're going to be able to develop a relationship with them. So what are some of the key benefits that you see in that area?
Well, I mean, first off, one of the main things is going to be your turn time. So I tell people this, hey, we can get things done faster. And a lot of times I get a lot of people say the same exact thing. Well, I'm not in a rush. It's like, but the reason it's getting done faster is there's less things that they're asking for. So there's less work on your end, which in turn makes it a lot less stressful. Buying a house can be pretty stressful. So if you can eliminate any stress you can eliminate or work that you can eliminate, you may as well go ahead and do it. The other thing too is, just like you said, I'm here, I'm available. You can walk in, I can come out to your house. I'm local. I'm in the community. So I'm always around. So, me doing a good job for you is probably more important than somebody on a call center or something like that. And the other thing too is I have direct contact with the underwriter that's working on your file.
Right.
So if there's an issue, I just pick up the phone and I'm on the phone with them.
Yeah.
That's it. If something comes up to where I need to move files around to get one to go faster or something like that, I have the ability to do that as well. So I'm more like personally involved with each one of the files and kind of know what's going on and able to deal with, the ones that need to be dealt with a little bit more than others.
Yeah, I think more than ever nowadays, it's more of it needs to be more of a face-to-face interaction, if you can. Or at least, on the phone here locally, you understand that if it does come down to a face-to-face meeting, you can drop off the documents. Whereas a lot of times, and we've seen it in the past. I got my start in the mortgage industry as well, in the real estate space back in the day. And when you look at it, there's a lot of these online companies that you don't know what they're going to say, you don't know what they're going to do, and when it comes down to the last minute and your rate gets artificially increased so the loan officer can make more commission, what are your repercussions? What are you going to do at that point? You're locked into the contract, and a lot of times in the mortgage industry, it comes out to who can outlie the other.
Yeah, it's horrible, but up front, we run into that a lot. And at the end of the day, once, just like you said, once you're that far down the road,
yep,
they can change it on you, and you're stuck. I mean, you have a contract that you're tied into. You're at risk of losing that deposit should you walk from the mortgage.
Yep.
You've already invested money in the appraisal and the inspections. So it's one of those things you really, really need to know who you're working with, and I see it a lot. And the other thing too is you're starting to see more and more of this automated mortgage approvals.
Right.
I get people who call me all the time and ask me, oh, well, what's my interest rate, or, what program can I do? And the honest answer up front is I really don't know. The thing about mortgages is you're dealing with people. So everybody's situation's completely different. Credit's different. There's different issues on credit. There's different accounts on credit. There's different things that come up. There's different types of ways of getting paid. There's divorces. There's all kinds of moving pieces that you can't just say, hey, everybody comes in for a mortgage fits in this box. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So, if you're dealing with a computer automating your approval, there's a very high probability that it's going to be wrong, or you may not be in the program that fits your needs the best.
Yeah, or there's a bait and switch coming.
Right.
There's a lot of moving parts in that.
Yes,
space.
for sure.
Yeah.
And in this article too, which I thought was interesting, is they were saying in Florida, over half of the renters are cost burden.
Yeah.
So, and we had, for people buying investment properties, that's a good thing. We had mentioned too that there's high rents in Florida compared to the pricing. So if you're here in Tampa, you're a lot better off to get out of renting and look into purchasing. Housing's still affordable, rates are still pretty low.
Let's do a rent versus own analysis for the first 5 listeners that text in. What we're going to do is we're going to create a rent versus own analysis. So if you're currently paying rent, text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to our consumer advocate hotline, 813-670-7372. Just give us a quick text at 813-670-7372. Text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying. And what we'll do is we'll have Mario and his team over at MI Mutual Mortgage put together a rent versus own analysis. Going to break down the amount of money that you're throwing away, paying your landlord's mortgage, putting that money to use into a new mortgage is going to help you build up equity, build up wealth, and there's a lot of benefits there to having your own property. So text to 813-670-7372. And, the other thing about renting, you can't have the cool parties, right?
Yeah, it's true.
You can't party as much. So yeah, stay with us. When we come back, we're going to talk about the mortgage expert Mario Larrea. We're going to talk about that, and so let's talk here with Brad Hubbard, Brad and Jerry. So national flood experts. When you think about the flood insurance, the issues that we had with Superstorm Sandy. Superstorm Sandy was a catastrophic event happening in New York, for all states. So here we are down in Florida paying exorbitant rates, and in Louisiana, these folks are looking at paying all this money out to flood insurance, and a lot of times you're saying that it's not necessary.
Sure. Yeah. What we found is about 50% of the time that FEMA's maps are wrong. and that they technically aren't in a high risk flood zone and can be pulled out. And that's what we do, and here in Florida, we're the donor state. We pay in billions and billions every single year, and we have very little, relatively, in terms of claims.
Right.
We've paid in, I think last time I looked, it was like 16 or 17 billion we've paid, and we've only had 4 billion in claims. So that other 12 billion has gone to pay for the Sandys, the Harveys, the Katrinas, everything else, and all the river stuff that happens around the country.
Yeah. So how does this happen? Because to me, I'm thinking as a real estate, longtime agent and involved in the mortgage industry for a while. So the government has gone in, they've created these maps, which may be outdated. The floodplain changes. Yep. What are we thinking about here? What's the big picture?
Sure. The big picture is when it's data. What kind of data is FEMA working with? They're looking on on a macro scale.
Yeah.
They're looking at this entire area, this whole zip code, this whole city, and they'll say, okay, everyone in here is in a flood zone. They don't look at it property by property. It's more of an average elevation. And with a lot of the data, a lot of the older maps, we're talking about survey data from 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Palm Beach County just redid their maps 3 months ago, and they were using 1980 maps before that. So think of how much development's happened in 30, 40 years in Palm Beach County.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about that and the effects of the water, the percolation rates, and all that comes into play when they have development and the addition of asphalt and those developments and the structures. So more from our expert contributors. Also, our feel good story of the week is an everyday hero. A woman coordinates 300 volunteers at Dream Center. So stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show. More from our expert contributors when we come back after this short break.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team at USF, and longtime quarterback on our sports teams. Now we're quarterbacking introductions to our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're quarterbacking transactions for our sellers, our buyers, and our investors out there, helping you win, helping you understand more about these buying decisions that you have daily. And we've got Intelligent Talk Radio. We've got some intelligent folks here in studio. Mario Larrea, MI Mutual Mortgage in the house. We've got Jerry Evenwell, Operations Manager for National Flood Experts. Brad Hubbard is the CEO as well for National Flood Experts. And I want to let you know about a hot listing I've got over on the beach. This is a beautiful property on Mandalay Avenue, 1024 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater Beach. Beautiful property, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and it's over 1,800 square foot with a split floor plan, and it's got pavers all the way around, kind of almost like a xeriscape type style in the backyard, and great property right on the beach. So you have short walk and you're on the beautiful beaches of the Clearwater, North Clearwater Beach. And I got a beautiful listing here in Apollo Beach as well, 6508 Bimini Court, Apollo Beach. This is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath property, over 5,600 square feet. This is a beautiful property for a fisherman or an outdoorsman, someone that wants to be on the water. $690,000, great buying opportunity, beautiful pool area, and you got to check out the photography by Fabre Frameworks on our website at consumerqb.com and Platinum MVP Realty. PlatinumMVPRealty.com. You can see all of our real estate listings there as well. And we want to give a shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza. Our official restaurant partner is Brio Tuscan Grill. And next to the Renaissance Tampa Hotel, you will discover an Italian menu, a cozy atmosphere, signature drinks, and a very friendly waitstaff over at Brio Tuscan Grill, our official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, let's jump right into it. So we're going to go back to Brad Hubbard here. He's the CEO of National Flood Experts, and we're talking about, this flood insurance, this big, gorilla. A lot of times, a couple years back, I just remember the fear that was in the real estate industry. And you think about Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, how many waterfront homes, how many waterfront commercial real estate properties we have. But that was quite a shakeup 2 or 3 years ago when everything was just kind of up in the air. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And to make you feel old, that was 5 years ago.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It goes faster, right?
It does. Yeah. And we're right back in it again. The NFIP, if it doesn't get extended, the reauthorization ends on February 8th here. So,
wow.
We're going to be right back in the same thing. We don't know what's going to come out of this. Last time was the whole bigger waters, all that scare, that we had around here, $15,000 flood insurance policies for a $300,000 home, and I don't expect that to happen again, but the fear with flood insurance is.
So the NFIP, let's break that down. It's the National Flood Insurance Program, correct? And it's funded by, traditionally we had reserves, we were in good shape, but then that's when Superstorm Sandy came out and just created a lot of, damage and really drained that. And that's what brought on the bigger waters?
Yes.
Yeah. So the bigger waters came in as a result of that.
Correct. Yeah. What they found, they had Katrina and then Sandy just a couple years apart, and it was just a huge amount of money that basically the federal government had to subsidize the NFIP to pay out. So they were trying to, how can we fund this in a correct way? And it was devastating to homeowners, especially with older homes. And, everyone likes to pick on that millionaire with the beach property, but those weren't the people that were really being hurt. It was that 1952 home on a river in Brandon, that just, they went, now they have to pay $7,000 a year in flood insurance and their mortgage is $800. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So.
Yeah, I was running into that a lot. I had people that were pre-approved, and it was like, I had one specific one that I remember they were pre-approved, and it was like a $300,000 purchase price. But as that was going through, the flood changed, and it like doubled the payment.
Yeah.
So it's like it knocked them out of what they couldn't get approved for it.
Exactly.
You lose the deal. You lose. Yeah. Think about the momentum that real estate has and the effect that real estate has on the economy. The buyer's agent, the listing side, the title companies, the contractors involved, the home inspectors involved, all this money that's generated from a real estate transaction. And to have something like that, reverse a lot of those closings. Those closings don't happen. You've got dreams that aren't realized by the homeowners that wanted to be in that home. So I want to ask Jerry now. So as the operations manager, how do you do this? How does this come into play? How does it happen?
How does what?
How do you remove the flood insurance from?
Yeah. So what we usually do is we provide a lot of things off the bat as free and guaranteed. So somebody would call and reach out to us and basically look into something, and we'll do a review, full, review over email or over the phone, and any of the documents needed. Usually what we're looking for is an elevation certificate.
Yes.
And then just an address, and we do all the work from there. So actually, my department usually runs with a lot of that, and we just have people essentially reviewing the maps, trying to get anything preliminary, or trying to get somebody the best information they can, especially with real estate realtors. They don't have anything that necessarily collected all at once. So try to give them a good idea of what are the chances of being removed, or what does the area look like. I'm looking at public data from Pinellas or Hillsborough, Pasco, and there's a lot of stuff we're familiar with as well, just from past cases too. So.
What about that area, Hillsborough Avenue? So Hillsborough Sheldon Memorial. Yep. You're right there, the Home Depot, the Publix. That place always gets flooded, that little inlet where they used to have, a long time ago, they used to have a little restaurant type deal right there, like 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, every time it rains, I know the spot you're talking about. Kind of that memorial area, that Hillsborough Avenue.
Yep, I know the exact. I drive by it every day. I live just west of there, so that area is just developed poorly, and everything was developed around that spot you're talking about, except that old building was just left down in a hole. Yeah, and that happens. And to Jerry's point, what our goal is at the end is to basically prove to FEMA that in that 100-year storm, this building, this home, this business won't be affected by that flood event. So that's what we're doing in that review, is checking all the different data that we have to see, whether or not they should be required to carry flood insurance.
Now, of course, we're in Tampa Bay. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Jerry Evenwell and Brad Hubbard, CEO, National Flood Experts. Mario Larrea, also in studio, MI Mutual Mortgage. We're having a conversation around flood insurance and the NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program. And, of course, Tampa Bay, St. Pete, Clearwater, Bradenton area, this is our market here. But, there are some properties in Miami that are basically, seeing effects from sea level rise. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, they've had a lot of sea level rise down there. Plus, the king tides and everything have been getting higher, and they're actually getting flooding events just from high tide right now. Wow. Kind of just
scary.
It is. It's kind of scary, and what they predict over the next few years, depending on the information that you look at, it could be nasty in some of those areas in Miami and Miami Beach.
Yeah, so you look at some of the most expensive real estate, some of the most expensive condos. You look at that, and then you think about, okay, and then this is not a political show here. We don't talk much of religion or politics, but when you look at two sets of rules and two sets of facts, with the right and the left, somewhere in the middle there's going to be some truth. But you think about that. Are we going to see that happening here in St. Pete and in certain areas of Tampa Bay? What do you think is?
And like you said, that unfortunately it becomes political because, people on one side want you to believe one thing and people on the other. And I've talked with, so-called experts on it, and everyone is sort of in agreement that there will be sea level rise. And we're not talking 10 years, we're not talking 20 years, but that 50, 100 years from now, you could see 1 or 2 feet higher here in Pinellas County.
Right.
From everything I've seen, it's kind of, like a parabol, escalating over time. It's just going to get worse and worse. But it does look like it is going to happen. But again, you got to trust the data that you're seeing, and it's.
You think about the entrepreneurial spirit as well. Yesterday's show we talked about Elon from Tesla, Elon Musk, building and bringing in these battery backups, 50,000 homes in South Australia. Yeah, so you think about that and you think, okay, somebody somewhere, we're going to have some entrepreneurial spirit.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to come up with an idea. There's going to be something that's going to combat this, and potentially, who knows? Is it something to do with desalinization, the ability to pull some of that water in through some of the rivers and harness the water or ship it? And I've heard even on a documentary too that they're actually taking icebergs from the North Pole and they actually ship those to China. I'm not sure if it's true or not. I've seen that where they'll needing so much fresh water. A country like China that has overpopulation.
Sure.
So you think about the resource that water is, and there's documentaries out there. Water Wars, I think, is one. Have you seen that by chance?
I have not seen that.
Yeah,
no.
There's a documentary called Water Wars, talking about the use of public utilities and water, the effects. But so if you're a business owner out there, maybe a resident, and you have potentially an issue regarding your flood insurance, and let's say they reach out, Brad, what's that process look like? What can they expect?
Sure, absolutely. And what we want is when you're told you're in a flood zone, you have to carry flood insurance. Most people just take that and say, okay, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Reach out, ask the question, give us a call. But what we do at that point is we take a look at all the data that we can find and try to see what kind of risk is really there, and pass that on to that property owner, business owner, residential, homeowner, and let them know, look, they're saying you're required to carry flood insurance, but the way that your home was built, it was built in 1995 to the flood code.
Yep.
You shouldn't be required to carry it. Your home's built 3 feet above where it's going to flood.
Right.
So your risk is, low.
Yep.
Is there risk? Yes, there's still risk, but it's not, $1,400 a year of risk. It's
I see that a lot too. A lot of times the flood insurance is the same, if not more, than the homeowners. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can really cut down on costs.
So let's talk about that when we come back, some of the cost side, the elevation. And I've got an interesting example that I've come into as well that I'll talk about as well. So when we come back, more from our expert contributors and our feel-good story of the week as well, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at ConsumerQB.com.
House or condo?
House.
3 bedrooms or 4?
3.
On the golf course or next to the lake?
Both. Choosing the perfect house involves some tough choices. Where to find it? That choice is easy. Homesandland.com. There are thousands of listings from the area's top realtors. Search by
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of our show. 5 o'clock drive time right here on 1380 The Biz, the Wall Street Business Network. We're syndicated on the weekends, FM 102.5 The Bone. Daily TV show on WeBeam TV as well, 10 a.m. And we got a afternoon rerun, I believe. What is that, 3 o'clock, John? Around 3? Yep, 3 o'clock afternoon rerun on WeBeam TV as well. So you can stream from our website as well, ConsumerQB.com, ConsumerQB.com. And also our hotline is 813-670-7372. We're talking a lot about mortgage and finance today. We're talking about flood insurance, how you can remove flood insurance from your residential or commercial property. And we got some experts here in studio. Mario Larrea, mortgage expert, MI Mutual Mortgage. Jerry Evanwell, operations manager for National Flood Experts. And we got Brad Hubbard as well. He's the CEO, National professional flood experts. And we want to give a shout out to Chef Will Wagner. This segment is brought to you by Chef Will Wagner Healthy Meal Delivery Service. Chef Will and his team conveniently deliver organic meals to your home or office. And we're talking paleo, ketogenic, vegan, and gluten-free kids menus available as well. And Chef Will Wagner, he's my chef, and he can help you and your family too. And what else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? You know, one of the most important things we can do is take care of our bodies. The food that we're putting into it wants to be nourishing, organic food. So reach out, and we would love to get you in touch with Chef Will Wagner. And my fiance loves the vegan lifestyle and the vegetarian style, so he's got a great menu as well. So reach out to us, and we'd love to get you in touch with Chef Will. Let me let you know about this property over in Clearwater. This is 2614 Cove Cay Drive, unit number 302 in Clearwater. This is a great entry-level starter home type, one and one half bath. You've got 810 square feet at 2614 Cove Cay Drive, unit number 302 in Clearwater, and it's $115,000. And we are looking at a great community where you have golf, waterfront community, marina, clubhouse, restaurant, pro shop, tennis, sauna, fitness, pool, and jacuzzi here at Cove Cay Drive in Clearwater. All right, back in studio, we're helping you win. We're talking about mortgage and finance today, and let's go back to Mario. So Mario, you know, when you look at this calculation of your debt ratio, you look at the flood insurance that goes into it as well. You know, a lot of times that can come in and just kick deals out of the pipeline.
Yeah, and I've seen it happen quite a bit with people, you know, where you're just walking the line on their debt ratio because it's such a lower income amount or something. And, you know, with the lower housing pricing, the prices right now, there's less and less available as far as opposed to the amount of people out there. Right. So you're trying to max that out, try to get as much as you possibly can for them to get approved with. And I've had several deals fall out because they put an offer and then it's, oh, hey, it's in a flood zone. We can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing, too, that comes into play is that flood insurance, you have to pay that 1 year in advance right up front. So now it's impacting the amount of cash that you have also. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's going to affect your monthly payment. It's going to affect your upfront costs. I mean, and it can be significantly, you know, I've seen sometimes where it's quite a bit more than the homeowner's insurance, you know. Yeah. So, and flood's not one of those things you can shop around. I mean, it basically is what it is. Like, you're either going with FEMA, or if you go with one of the private companies, they're most of the time a lot higher. So, I mean, it's not like you shop from one homeowner's insurance to the next. I mean, yeah, they're all pretty much fishing from the same pond.
That's a question I wanted to ask as well. Do you have any insights into that? I mean, are there any other private markets, or what do you see in there?
And it's actually getting really a lot better right now. You know, more and more private flood insurance companies are getting into the market every couple of months. And the pricing, it depends on where it is. You know, there are some, especially for the older homes, those private markets can really help on the pricing. But it's getting better every 6 months. You know, we've got more options. We've got, you know, the lenders are more receptive to it. There are just, you know, better options to still cover your home for, you know, not that NFIP rate or, but it's getting better. It's not perfect, but it is getting better.
Right. Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into our feel-good story of the week. Every week we want to have a positive story and tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we got Everyday Hero. A woman coordinates 300 volunteers at Dream Center out of St. Petersburg. So the Dream Center's mission says we need, when we see a need, we meet it. When we find a hurt, we heal it. So founded by Pastor Bill Lasano, the center helps the homeless, the hungry, and those in need, and many more through its multiple outreaches. One of the center's unique outreaches is Adopt a Block, where volunteers spend a Saturday knocking on doors in needy neighborhoods and simply asking people, how can we help you? Another one of O'Connell's duties is running behind a boutique that aids human trafficking victims. So housed in a confidential location where rescued victims attempt to rebuild their lives, the boutique gives the victims basic necessities for everyday life. Meanwhile, there is Food Distribution Center that supplies 40,000 pounds of food every month. The center also reaches those in jail and prisons and aids in addicts trying to kick their habits. Our goal is to find them short-term help and to then allow them to change something long-term, she said. So it is more than just a Band-Aid. It is a relationship. So interesting story in our feel-good segment there. So pretty cool work that she's doing down there. in St. Pete.
Yeah.
Knocking on doors, helping people.
I wonder how receptive everybody is to that. Like somebody just shows up at your door, like I would think something was up. Like, how can I help you? Like, all right, what do you want?
Sketchy
like,
community.
Yeah.
If you're in a neighborhood, depending on the neighborhood, they're like, oh, it's another realtor. Get out of here. Knocking on my door. All right, let's jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom, Mario Larrea.
When you're looking for a mortgage, do research on who you're speaking with, and look for somebody local, somebody who has a local presence, and check them out, see what the reviews are online. Really check out the individual on top of the company that they're with, but more specifically the individual that you're working with, because it can really impact the deal that you're getting if you get what they say up front, if it'll actually be that at the end.
Yeah, avoid the bait and switch.
Yep.
Check out your mortgage loan officer online. All right, Jerry, operations manager, National Flood Experts.
Yeah, what I can say is believe anything's possible. I have seen entire neighborhoods that shouldn't be in flood zones. 500 homes. It's really bad. It just comes down to the data, where it's at, and we're free. Come give us a call. We'll check it out.
Excellent. Brad Hubbard.
Sure. When you're told there's nothing you can do about it, and FEMA says you're in a flood zone, it is what it is. There are other options. Talk to an expert.
Yeah. You look at that. So what percentage of cases would you say that you see? I mean, is it a 50-50 ratio? Close to that? Or
when we look at it, when we look at it across the country, we're between 50 and 60% that we can help. And that's on the removal side. It's obviously area dependent. South St. Pete, much lower. Pasco, Northern Hillsborough, much higher.
Much higher.
But, we're over half the time.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's crazy.
So you're doing this nationwide, not just in the local area?
Correct.
Okay. So
wherever FEMA works.
So that Miami example was a pretty good example. I mean, Miami is a tough area, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of clients. We did one today in Pembroke Pines and Fort Lauderdale, and so we help a lot of people in that South Florida Tri-County area.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when you look at the properties that are built up, if they're built on a structure or stilts, and they park their car underneath, that's a property that shouldn't have flood insurance, depending on.
Well, actually, technically, that still does, but it should be dirt cheap. Yeah,
right.
It should be talking cheaper. $300 for your flood insurance.
Because all you're going to be replacing is the poles that are touching the ground.
Right.
Yep. You should get an elevation certificate.
Yeah. So you have that, and that's the key to the whole conversation that we're having. Is the elevation certificate is basically going to be, it's going to be your card whether you're getting it or not.
Yeah, it explains your risk. That's really what it does. It explains your risk and what you can expect.
Yeah. So that with the Tampa Bay market and the investors as well, people looking to invest and then to buy the properties that are in the waterfront areas, they're gonna demand and command higher rents.
Yep.
So with that, if you're able to remove flood insurance from someone's mortgage, especially if they're doing a principal, interest, taxes, insurance, removing that that bill, a lot of times, what's the highest flood that you've seen, like cost wise?
On a home?
Yeah, like a residential.
Residential home, highest I've seen is $14,000.
Yeah, 14,000 or so. Wow. Yeah, so that's a good chunk of money that could potentially be paid in basically as a waste. So based on the flood elevation, that's you want to check that out. ConsumerQB.com. Go to our website, submit the form, and we're going to make sure we get you in contact with all of our expert contributors. We'll put you in touch with the National Flood Experts as well. Mario Larrea, mortgage expert here in Tampa, can help you with your mortgage side, getting that ready to go. We've got great realtors on our team at Platinum MVP Realty. We've got buyer agents. We've got investor specialists. We've got foreclosure list of properties if you're looking to invest. We have foreclosures, property that you can buy cash. There's a lot of ways we can help you. And of course, we love to do the listing side where we can help you maximize the exposure on your properties and utilize some of our strategies that have gotten us featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, the Business Journal, and others. So I want to thank our expert contributors, Mario Larrea, MI Mutual Mortgage, Jerry and Brad representing National Flood Experts, and all of our listeners out there. Thanks for listening and tuning in to our TV show. And we want you to please please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as packing up some leftover food, some clothing you have, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, and be a force for good. Hand it to that person that you see in need and help someone else in need. Maybe buy a lunch or a dinner for a serviceman or woman that you see, a police officer, first responder. Do something kindness. A random act of kindness is what we talk about here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com, and at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Twitter and Instagram. And we'll see you next time here, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.